2025 was a year defined by overlapping disasters. From conflict zones to climate, communities were hit again and again, often with no time to recover. But in every disaster, in every corner of the world, GEM showed up. Fast, lean, and fully committed.
In 2025 alone, GEM expended over $188 million in humanitarian aid worldwide. And since inception, GEM has deployed over $726.5 million in relief efforts across the globe. At GEM, we limit imports and utilize infrastructure that already exists in countries and states that we operate in, significantly reducing costs to our programs. 2025 marked GEM's 15th anniversary. Collectively, GEM has served in 76 countries, surpassed 500 million meals distributed, completed over 2,900 light and medium construction repairs, completed over 55,000 extractions or relocations, and empowered tens of thousands of families to rebuild their lives with dignity. None of this happens alone. Through smart partnerships like Good 360, Amazon, and private sector leaders, GEM has distributed over 13,000 trucks of aid from our warehouses to disaster zones worldwide, maximizing speed, scale, and impact. Because sustainable recovery isn't just rebuilding homes, it's transforming trauma into empowerment that can last generations. Here's what your support made possible in 2025. 2025 began in flames. Explosive wildfires tore across LA County, Altadena, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and Pasadena. Entire neighborhoods were erased overnight. GEM mobilized immediately, delivering family necessity kits, food, water, hygiene supplies, and critical support to displaced families. GEM dispatched over $24.7 million of aid to LA, and $1 million was expended thanks to our smart partnership with the David Geffen Foundation. GEM has transitioned into long-term recovery in Los Angeles, supporting families with rental assistance and small business recovery.
We're going to give each one of your households $15,000.
Through the LA Rental Assistance Program, GEM distributed over $715,000, supporting 73 households, covering security deposits and 2 months of rent. GEM also issued over $298,000 in small business grants, supporting 45 local businesses with grants ranging from $2,000 to $10,000. From the first spark to the long road ahead, GEM stood with LA. In Texas, torrential rains triggered catastrophic flash flooding across Kerr County. Rivers overflowed, entire neighborhoods were swept away. GEM moved quickly, distributing emergency supplies and supporting families through one of the state's most devastating flood events in hundreds of years. Alongside the David and Nicole Tepper Foundation, the Sergey Brin Foundation, and Be Strong, GEM distributed over $1.1 million in immediate cash assistance across affected regions. Our teams continue supporting long-term recovery through building materials, tool replacements, and relocation programs. Violent tornadoes tore through Missouri and Kentucky, flattening homes in minutes. GEM delivered family necessity kits, cleaning supplies, pet food, and direct support to survivors facing total loss. Thousands of miles away, Alaska's Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta faced its worst flooding since the 1964 earthquake. Remote villages, accessible only by air or boat, were underwater, but distance didn't slow GEM. We delivered supplies, supported evacuations, and ensured vulnerable communities were not forgotten. In 2022, GEM launched our Tribal Impact Program, serving 10 tribal communities so far from California to Alaska. These initiatives support communities preserving native land, culture, and resilience across the United States. In Maui, GEM stayed long after the fires. Through rental assistance and housing programs, we secured safe housing for 305 households with 825 individuals for up to 18 months, distributed $21.79 million in rental assistance, placed 9 ADUs, and supported 50 additional households through the TANF housing program. Alongside housing specialists caring for 203 households, GEM delivered over $13 million in housing services, helping families stabilize, recover, and move forward. Thanks to the David and Nicole Tepper Foundation, GEM continues operating in North Carolina following Hurricane Helene, distributing over $700,000 in small business grants to 121 businesses and over $441,000 to long-term housing support. In Gaza, the humanitarian crisis deepened as conflict dragged on. Food insecurity, displacement, and collapsed infrastructure pushed families to the brink. GEM worked with regional partners to deliver food boxes, water, hygiene, supplies, mattresses, and emergency essentials to families trapped in the crossfire. Every delivery required coordination, sensitivity, and courage, but GEM refused to turn away. By Q4, GEM, in partnership with HCI and RRT, became the third largest importer of aid in the non-government funded agencies. In Ukraine, the war entered another grueling year. Alongside the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, GEM continued operating along the front lines. To date, GEM has delivered over 7.75 million family necessity kits of aid, 46.7 million liters of water, and repaired over 300,000 windows damaged by drone and missile strikes on civilian infrastructure. This has prevented over 1 million people from becoming IDPs or refugees by keeping them in their homes. One of GEM Ukraine's core programs is our SEED program, delivering seed packets to frontline communities so families can grow food at home, strengthen local economies, and regain self-sufficiency. To date, GEM has distributed over 7.9 million seed packs. In the UN cluster reports, GEM ranks first in all core sectors that we operate in: food, water, livelihoods, and humanitarian repairs. Despite shelling, drone attacks, and brutal winters, GEM teams pressed forward, delivering hope all across Ukraine. When Hurricane Melissa tore across the Caribbean, Jamaica was left flooded, shattered, and without power. GEM was already on the island, pre-positioned, and mobilized, distributing thousands of pallets of aid within days. Tarps, mattresses, generators, food, water, and hygiene kits reached even the most cut-off mountain communities. According to Sedima and ODPEM December report, GEM was the lead importer of aid delivered into Jamaica. Despite relentless rain, heat, and damaged infrastructure, our teams are repairing hundreds of roofs and preparing to rebuild thousands. Using the same proven model from Hurricane Beryl, where GEM repaired 739 roofs. Across Latin America, disaster came in waves. Guatemala was rocked by hundreds of earthquakes and the eruption of Volcano Fuego, while catastrophic flooding submerged entire cities in Argentina. GEM Latam moved fast, delivering food, clean water, hygiene kits, masks, and emergency shelter supplies to families forced from their homes. Local teams, rapid response, aid where it was needed most. Across Asia and the Middle East, disasters unfolded simultaneously. Monsoon floods displaced millions in Pakistan, a historic 7.7 earthquake devastated Myanmar, a devastating typhoon struck Vietnam, and powerful quakes struck Afghanistan and the Philippines. GEM Europe, Asia, and MENA worked together to deliver food, clean water, medical supplies, hygiene kits, and emergency shelter across some of the world's most complex environments. What makes GEM truly disruptive is our ability to stay, long after the media and others move on. GEM continues operating in Maui, Los Angeles, North Carolina, Ukraine, Gaza, Haiti, and Jamaica, long after headlines fade. Whether serving Florida communities or standing alongside victims of war, GEM is here to stay. Different countries, different cultures, different disasters. But one truth remained the same. When people needed help the most, GEM was there. Because we believe the future belongs to those who rebuild, to those who don't quit, to those who rise after disaster. Thank you for standing with us in 2025. Together we empower survivors to build a stronger tomorrow. Visit www.gem.org to support these critical missions.